What's going on, guys? Oh, hold up. Did the Beacon Mix Create just get back in stock? Like right as I go live? It is. It is. Did they tweet about it? What's going on, guys? Oh, yeah, they tweeted about it. What a perfect day to put up the what's it called? To put up the tutorial. I still feel like there are things that I missed in that tutorial. I tried to really give it a good overview, but then I see a lot of comments and it's like, but I did talk about how to put on an XLR setup, and I did talk but I didn't spend a lot of time on it because it was already a 20-minute video, you know? What's up, Sarah? How are you doing? Beacon Mix Create, is the Beacon mic still not in stock? Beacon mic is still unavailable. Okay. I think that's right in my face. Windows only? Yep, for now. As far as I know. I don't know what their plans are for Mac. I mean, really, this is a streaming device, so I can see why they wouldn't spend a ton of time on Mac. They need to make their Windows experience as good as possible first. I'm gonna be honest. I think a lot of people are sleeping on the Beacon Mix. I almost bought a black one last night. I'm gonna set up a white one, the white one here at my setup, just to toy around with it for a little bit. Having the white one next to the black one is gonna totally throw me off. So I need to make sure, but I need to make sure that it's good first. You know, I need to make sure it does what I need it to do. Once I've verified that, then we'll dive into it. I think a lot of people are sleeping on streaming from Mac. I've done it before. It's not a great experience. I was able to do it from the M1 Mac Mini, and then I was like, oh, if I can do it on the M1 Mac Mini, I can do it on my M1 Max MacBook Pro, and it struggled. My M1 Max struggled to stream. You have any clue if Beacon is only distributed in the US? I have no idea, actually. No clue. By the way, let me know. I'm using this microphone right here. I've been meaning to set that up. I finally got it set up. And then we'll switch back and forth as needed. But yeah, so let me know how it sounds. How's the noise gate? That's why I was a little bit late. I was setting up the noise gate on this thing. Although I feel like this camera is aiming a little bit low. Supposed to show a little bit of the black roof there. I like showing a little bit of that black roof. There we go. Did the camera slouch? Did I bump the camera? Is it going down? Who knows? Beacon is Canadian? They are. It's part of the team is in California. Sounds crisp to me. Yeah, it's gonna sound a little bit roomy. We still need to do some sound treatment in here, and we will. I'm gonna put some sound treatment stuff on the roof. Gonna have a big piece of art on the wall behind me. But so it's gonna, but it's, I want it to maintain a little bit of a roomy sound. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with a little bit of room sound. It won't be this roomy, but I like the idea that you feel that it's not this isolated broadcast sound. I'll use that when I'm gaming and stuff and some other situations where I need it. It's a great microphone, but I really like the idea. Like when I started setting up this stream room, I wanted it to feel more like a YouTube video. We're streaming on YouTube. We put a lot of effort into our YouTube videos. Why not put that same effort and look into our live streams. So that's why we're using a shotgun mic. That's why we got a little bit of room sound going on. That's why we got the camera right here, right front and center. And we just do like full screen camera. What are your opinions on VR streaming? I don't spend a lot of time watching. I don't spend a lot of time watching streams in general. The biggest difficulty, the hardest part about VR streaming, unless you're a really good VR streamer, the hardest part is interacting with your audience. Like, until you've made a name for yourself as a VR streamer and someone who does some really good VR stuff, it's really hard. Just because you can't look, like, I can look at you, right? I can look right at you guys. You can see my face, you can talk to me, and there's that connection there, right? There is a psychological connection when you can see someone's face. That's why you should have your face in a thumbnail, because like people, their eyes are drawn to faces. And you can't do that when you got a big mask on your face. So I think I'm interested to see if Facebook's new, like, what is it, Oculus 2 or Facebook, what's it called? I don't remember what the new Facebook one is that's supposed to be able to like read eye tracking stuff or whatever, like facial expressions within there. If you could use that and the cameras inside there that track your facial expressions, if you can digitally remove the VR thing from like VR chat. Could you imagine if like I was wearing a VR headset right now? Project Cambria. Yeah, the Cambria. If I could be wearing it right now, but to you, it looked like this because it was tracking my face. I don't know if that kind of, I mean, so much tech would have to go into that. And at the end of the day, I don't think that Facebook really cares about VR streamers that much. So it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Can you expand on what your M1 Max was struggling with? Just dropping frames. It was maxing out CPU performance. Fans were kicking in hot. Just picked up the Rode VideoMic Pro Go, VideoMic Go 2. Think more creators should absolutely check it out. $100 little shotgun that can plug right into USB. VideoMic Go 2. Let me remember what that is. Rode VideoMic Go 2. Yeah, I've got the, do I have that one? I think that's the one I have. No, I have the VideoMic NTG. How is it different than the NTG? So here we got, I see. So, by the way, now you're hearing this one, right? See, it's really cool to be able to switch back and forth like this. If I want to like go to this talking scene, then I can go to this microphone. Then we go back to just chatting. We pull up the shotgun mic. I think that's dope. But like, what's the difference between the NTG and the VideoMic Go? Is it just like level of like, you know, this one's obviously a high-end shotgun mic. It's their NTG tech, which is actually what I use, is the Rode NTG stuff. And this is more, let me see. VideoMic Go 2. It is a shotgun mic. I'd like to test the two and see the difference between them. Because if this gives out a similar quality, same annular line tube technology is hugely popular with the VideoMic NTG and the NTG 5. Did they just put the $250 tech into a $100 mic? Yo, Pauler, welcome to True Senpais, man. Thank you. No, that's cool. I feel like, is that the one that Scott has? I don't remember. I do not like the sound of that mic. Of this mic? I still have to work out some kinks. There's such a drastic difference between the two. This one is going to be so bright and so roomy, and this is going to be that. This is going to be that more broadcast sound. And so right out of the gate, in general, when you hear this one, I want to make sure my settings are right. I believe they are. Yeah, when you hear this one in general, it's going to sound a lot duller. And I could spend a little bit more time tweaking it. I'm going to have to do that for sure. I might need to lift up the low end or the high end a little bit. I don't have a huge boost on that. Bring it up 2 dB. Yeah, I only had it like 1.2 dB. So I don't know. And when you jump over, when you switch mics like that, there's always such a drastic difference in quality. I'll have to take a listen to it and really customize these settings because I haven't spent a lot of time on it. I just brought it back down. Did you use chroma key in your video about the beacon mixer? Are you asking if I was green screened in our latest video? Are you talking about the one that went up this morning? Oh my gosh, dude, Shadow Gaming. Any idea why my Go XLR is making large buzzing sound in the headphones? It gets worse when I speak. Checked all the line in, line out. Tried different mics, XLR cables. Happens on every mic, every XLR cable. I would mute everything to your headphones except for, like, figure out which input is buzzing to your headphones. That's the first thing I would do. Like, mute everything except the microphone, then mute everything except for the line in, then mute everything except for it. Just, that's the first thing I would do, is double check that it is the actual microphone. I mean, and it's not the microphone because you tested different microphones. If that's the case, I wonder if you have a preamp issue or like there's a problem on the inside of your Go XLR. I would definitely, if like you've figured out exactly what the input is and it's the microphone, you shouldn't have grounding problems with a microphone, by the way. That's why I said that, because it might be your line in and you might need a ground loop noise isolator. But like if it's the microphone going in and back directly back to your headphones, and you can verify that, I would, oh my gosh, Scott, that's insane. I would hit up Go XLR. You might have an issue with one of the components inside. I have a quick question. I have a shotgun mic with a 3.5 port. How do I connect that to my Focusrite interface? Shotgun mic with a 3.5. Are you talking about like that little Rode, Rode NTG or the Rode Video Mic Pro? Or Video Mic Go or whatever. Yeah, you'll just need so you shouldn't, if it's going out of 3.5 millimeter, it probably has its own built-in, is that music loud for everyone or just for me? How's the music volume, by the way? Actually, let me bring it back up to where it was. How's the music volume? Is it loud? If it's not loud, I'm going to turn it down to my own mix. But yeah, no, if it's coming out of a 3.5 millimeter jack and it's like one of those camera mounted ones, just get like a 3.5 millimeter to XLR and plug it directly in. You won't have to turn it up very loud because it's already got its own built-in preamp. It's quiet? Ooh, okay. Then let me adjust that submix then. Here, let me just show you what I'm doing. So it sounds kind of loud on my end, almost like distracting. I'm having a hard time talking. And some people said it was a little bit quiet. How's that? Just a little bit low on my end now. What do you guys think about that? So this is what you're hearing, this is what I'm hearing. Much better, good. One person said a little bit too loud. One person said still kind of low. I think that's probably fine then. We're probably right in the middle. It's actually a little bit, there we go. Okay. Perfect. Now I can hear it okay, but it's not distracting me and you guys can hear it just fine. Dude, submixes are such a game changer. Like, I'm so glad that Elgato like created that system, like the wavelength system with submixes, and made that the bar. Guys, if any USB microphone, Okay, here I have two thoughts on this. First, I was about to say any USB microphone that comes out and does not have submixes is just behind. And I stand by that. Like at this rate, like someone commented on the video this morning and was like, oh, this software, the Beacon software, I'll pull it up. The Beacon software is just a ripoff of the Wavelink software. No, this is just the standard. This is what every microphone should have. It needs to have submixes. You need to be able to link it together, which I'm still gonna brag about. Every single time. Every single time I'm gonna brag about this link button right here. My idea. So proud of that. Just being real with you guys. Never gonna let it down. But this is a norm. This is what every single USB microphone needs to have. It needs to have submixes. It needs to have a link button. It needs to have mute modes. It has to. It absolutely has to. So, no, they didn't copy it. But I'm really glad Elgato like set the bar and did that. But then at the same time, when I said I'm a little conflicted, I have two opinions on this. The reason that they kind of don't anymore, they should, because you shouldn't have to go out and get another piece of hardware. But like realistically, now because of Beacon, every single USB mic has that, because you can plug any USB mic into this. Like I've got, if you don't know this, the shotgun mic is actually going into my Wavelink, and I'm putting the effects on it because it's got built-in VSTs now, and then outputting it to the second one. That's how I'm doing this now. So, and any USB mic now actually has all this stuff because Beacon allows you to do it with any microphone, which is really cool. I meant to switch to the camera. I accidentally turned off the camera. Give it a sec. It's got to power back on. Is it up yet? Give it a sec. Give it a sec. Wait for it. There we go. Wish the Go XLR Mini had submixes. I think they tweeted out that they were working on it. But it took, dude, it's the thing. It's too little, too late. I mean, I'd love them to add it so everybody who has a Go XLR can have it. But like the fact that they took so long is the entire reason that, like, honestly, is one of the biggest reasons Beacon's gonna succeed. I guess Voicemeeter Banana is nice for its purpose. So one thing I left out of the original, I wrote in the script for the original Beacon Mix video that I took out because it was just getting too wordy and too long, is that something that's missing from the industry, especially the streaming industry, is the ability to understand, the ability to manage two different things. Let me explain what I mean by that. By that I mean, it is very rare for a company that makes streaming devices to, one, understand how the professional version works and add professional features, while at the same time understanding the consumer and how little they know and making those professional features intuitive for the average streamer. And there are very few people who do that. Elgato does it well. Elgato does it well, and Beacon does it well. Everybody else struggles to find that balance. But like when you look at, dude, people are seriously sleeping on the Beacon Mix. The Beacon Mix is a perfect example of really awesome software. They made it look so simple that I feel like people are like, oh, that doesn't do anything. It's so cool. It's so simple. It's so great. I think a lot of people are gonna love the Beacon Mix. This mic needs a little work. Gain boost on our end. I'll tweak it a little bit. I mean, I'm almost peaking in there. I don't think it needs a gain boost, but I need to add some EQ. I literally just set this mic up right before I went live, and all I threw on it was a noise gate. So I got to throw some compression. I got to throw some EQ. We also have to sound treat this room a little bit. It'll improve with time. Don't worry about it. Give it another 2 weeks or so as we bring the lights in here and we put the sound panels on the ceiling. This mic will sound a lot better. But yeah, Voicemeeter Banana. They understand pro audio. Clearly those guys have worked in the pro audio space. They have no idea how to make it understandable for your average user. I studied sound recording technology and I hated using Voicemeeter. It's so counterintuitive. Is the Beacon Mix nice for someone who's not a streamer? Oh, it's ideal for someone who's not a streamer. For the gaming PCs out there, because I don't think we're ever really going to stream on them, I'm probably just going to line them all up with Beacon Mixes. I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Dude, just having that is so nice. There's a lot of room, so yeah, sound treatment. Yeah. You improved it a little bit from the last stream because this mic is literally like this far away from my face. Like it's like 8 inches away from my face. Just order the Beacon Mix Create after restock. Looking forward to getting that. Yeah, just put up a tutorial today. So check that out if you need any help. I've been trying to configure my mic in G Hub, but having some issues. Can't tell what sounds good. I talk soft and can't speak with the delay with the monitor when the monitor is on. Can't speak with the delay when the monitor is on. It sounds like you're probably sending your mic like through the PC and then back out to your headphones. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't get any delay if your headphones are plugged directly into the microphone itself, which is what you need to be doing. If I have the Wavelink, is it worth it to cop a Beacon Mix? There's going to be a lot of redundancy in the features. So if you like your Wave XLR, if you don't feel like there's anything missing, like you get really the only difference is knobs. Knobs and a screen. Knobs and a screen. Other than that, like the other big feature about it, and there are a couple of them, but like the main feature there is like is being able to plug in any USB mic or any mic at all. But if you already have a microphone going into a Wave XLR, there's not much of a reason. So really it just depends on if the screen and the knobs are worth it to you. Like if you're just filling up your Stream Deck with buttons for your Wave XLR, like that's kind of what it's for, you know? Routing table is there. You get a similar experience though. Like a lot of the routing table is, a lot of what you get with the routing table, a lot of what you get with the routing table, you get in the mixer also. Like you can see if I turn off, so we're not using this mic right now. If I turn this off, you can see as I'm turning this on and off, it changes this, right? So like you get a lot of it is a little bit redundant. The only difference is being able to like mute it to voice chat and stuff. But like, I think you can do that with the Stream Deck. I have to go back and look. It's been so long. Mic change? I know I changed the mic. I was talking into a different mic. I was doing that on purpose. I'll be honest, the Go XLR initially was a nightmare, but through trial and error, man's videos, pretty confident in it now. I mean, anytime you go up to some kind of professional audio, there's always going to be a little bit of difficulty. Is it better to use a Beacon Mix Create on a 2PC setup or a Beacon Mix? You can use either one. They'll both work just fine. Just with the Beacon Mix, you're gonna use its own software a little bit more heavily, like setting your audience mix to go out of the output, whatever. Versus on the Beacon Mix, using that on a 2PC setup, you kind of more have to route that with the PC itself. I'd have to look into that exactly how to do it. There's a lot more routing options. Honestly, for if $50 is not that big a change to you, it might be worth until I look into it more. It might be worth doing the Beacon Mix Create on a 2PC setup. You think TC Helicon will abandon the Go XLR? I think they will eventually. They don't really have a gaming sector, and to be real with you, I think the last like 2 or 3 major updates have broken everything. If you're wanting a Beacon Mix Create, there are fewer than 120 left. Oh, interesting. Thanks for letting us know. Could the Beacon Mix Create replace virtual audio cables? That's what I've had to use to separate my Discord, game, music, audio. Yes. Oh, I see. Because you're separating it in OBS. Are you doing that so you can record them separately? So you can like have them to work with later? I've never actually done that. I'd have to look into that. You should technically be able to capture them. I don't know. I have no experience with that. Xspirit says, can you by any chance make a tutorial on how to set up multi-audio recording in OBS using the Beacon Mix Create? So is that what you're talking, like recording files? Is that both people talking about the same thing, like recording multiple tracks separately? I haven't had much of a need to do that. So here's where this will come in handy. In Beacon's roadmap, Beacon has talked about one of the things they want to release this year, 2022, is OBS integration, which I assume means that you can take one of your knobs and have it control a fader inside OBS. So instead of sending it through one of the channels on Beacon, you can instead just send it straight into OBS and control it on there so you can record it separately, which would be really nice for stuff like music, you know? Dude, Aaron Lynn, welcome back. 10 months, true senpais. You probably talked about this before. I'd love to hear how you personally deal with times you don't have motivation. Yeah, I mean, a day off isn't always a terrible thing, guys. I rarely take one. Yesterday, I worked from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. It is what it is. Like, I just have so much to do. But it's all fun and it's all exciting. It's not all exciting. A lot of it's exciting. What I was doing at 2 a.m. was not exciting. We got another video coming out tomorrow, and I needed to film it because it is a product launch that I can't tell you about. It's a cool product. Excited for you guys to see it. But yeah, so it was like 1 a.m, and I was like, I have to film this. So I'd say from like 11 to 1, I was like setting up lighting and adjusting lighting and everything, setting up cameras, and then like I had to go pick up the memory cards. Scott still had the memory cards from editing, so I had to go to his place, pick up the memory cards, come back. He lives like 15 minutes away. So like, yeah, I mean, I get you, man. Sometimes the thing that keeps me going is a to-do list. When you can see laid out in front of you exactly what you need to accomplish, and you get that serotonin boost or dopamine boost. I don't know the difference between serotonin and dopamine, by the way. But like you get that boost of good feels from checking stuff off and like seeing what you're accomplishing. Dude, having a to-do list is big. And put little things on your to-do list. Put things that you can accomplish in 5 minutes. Give yourself that serotonin by taking out the trash. Take out the trash. Put that on your list, take out the trash, check it off your list. Feels so good. And you're like, okay, what's the next thing? Let's knock another thing off this list. And you just kind of work your way up. Why is no one hitting like? That's a good, 76 people have hit the like button. What day of the week is it? Is it Monday? Is it Wednesday? I feel like Wednesdays are generally the lower viewership days. And so by the transitive property, there are also lower likes. But if you guys are in here, please hit the like button. Helps out a ton. I too want an ETA on the wallpaper. Like a Senpai wallpaper. Should we release that when we rebrand? Serotonin is the feeling of happiness and joy. Dopamine is the feeling of reward or motivation. But I feel happiness when I get that reward and motivation. So which one is it? Which one do you get when you check something off your list? Is that dopamine? Get that dopamine hit when you check something off your list? Also, Serotonin is a dope lo-fi song. That is a dope lo-fi song. That's named after someone who's in the chat right now. That was a great name. It's dopamine. You check something off your list, it's dopamine. Serotonin. I just bought a Beacon Mix Create. Am I crazy? Nah, man, you're gonna love it. It is it's the first device that pulled the Go XLR off my desk. So happy about that. I'm still like toying around because I have 3 microphones and I'm like toying around how to properly use that, you know? And not only properly use that, but make sure that I can like record it and capture them all as inputs, because that's the hard part, is capturing all of them as inputs. You know? I wish they had one more output. I wish they sent out one more digital output that I could use for recording. Maybe I'll ask him how difficult that would be to add one more output, just so I could send it to my recording software. Cause like I don't even have it set up. I gotta do that. I gotta turn that on. Cause I use 4K capture utility and capture all 4 cameras. Or yeah, all 4 cameras at the same time, like this. So like all 4 cameras recording at the same time, flashback recording, yada yada. But with separating like all the cameras and all the microphones and stuff, it's a little bit rough. So I wish they had one more that I could just constantly be sending all the microphones to. But like, how many people need that? That's the hard part. I know that like I'm probably one of the few people that want that. It's rough, man. It's rough. It's kind of a bummer. Like, I wish, here's the deal. Here's what I want. Switch microphones again so I can move over here. Here's what I want. You know how there's this extra copy voice chat mic output too? I wish there was an option to like send this out to something and have all of my microphones, like even the ones like, because right now this one's muted, right? So if I were to send this, even though there are 2 microphones going out to the voice chat mic, my beacon mic and my shotgun mic, because this one's muted, it's not going to capture this microphone. I don't know. I was gonna say I wish I could do it where they're all being captured, but like that would create such like an echo. I gotta figure out how to do this now. I really don't know what the solution is. Maybe I have both of these microphones. Maybe I don't go through the Wavelink software. And I have both of these microphones coming in through like a Focusrite Scarlett Duo, right? So like I have them going into the same device. It should pan them. I believe it pans them left and right. If you have 2 inputs, if you're going into like both of them, maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. See, these are like, if you get too advanced like this, I've created this room specifically for making content out of my live streams. And now I have to figure out exactly, like with 4 cameras and 3 microphones, how do I properly do that? It pans them. Maybe I pick up a Scarlett Duo. How much are those? Oh, Focusrite 2i2. It's not the Scarlett Duo. It's 2i2. All right, 180 bucks. Could you have both mics into another track, then have that track into a recording software? Yes. Yes. Hold on. Let's tease that for a second. We're getting real deep in here. So you can. But I'd need another mix. Because you can check more than one microphone. So I could have another input over here. I could take like aux 1, aux 2, whatever, right? And I could bring them both into there, but then I couldn't separate them left and right would be the problem. I could have both mics coming in, but you'd always hear all the microphones, and I'd need to be able to send that to another mix. I'd need another mix. could hold up, because you can record multiple tracks in OBS. You can record multiple tracks in OBS. So what I could do is I could have them in OBS capturing. Okay, I think we might be getting somewhere. This is gonna make editing a little bit more tedious, and I'm trying to avoid that. That's another thing. I don't want editing to be anything crazy, you know? Sorry, I was on the wrong microphone. Wrong mic. I'm trying not to make editing ridiculous. Cause like I could bring them all into OBS and just have them go out to a separate track that only records and doesn't stream. Because you can do that. You can set tracks to only record and not stream. And then whenever I flashback record in 4K capture utility, I can set a replay buffer and I could record in there and have all the separate tracks. That is an option, but in replay buffer, you can only have a certain period of time. So if I do a 2-minute flashback of the cameras, and then I hit the replay buffer, I'm getting 30 minutes of audio recording. And I know you could go be like, okay, well, they're gonna line up. Like the end of one is the end of the other, just cut off everything before the 2 minutes, right? But like, that's still for a short, if I'm trying to put up a short every day, that might just be a little bit unreasonable. You know? The camera color correction quality on the new video. Dude, are you guys liking the camera quality? Can we talk about this? Can I be excited about this with you for just a second? Hold on. Did you guys see the video that's going up? Just in general, the latest couple videos. Since we've started being able to really use Senpai HQ. Right? I feel like I was a little dark. In the video coming out tomorrow, I brightened myself up a little bit more. Yeah, camera needed to be a little bit brighter, or not camera, but the light on my face needed to be a little bit brighter. So we're making small adjustments as we go around, but like, wait, why'd you say audio again? We're using this microphone. Each beacon mix track might be seen as a separate track in the DAW. No, so they all sum down to a single output. Maybe there's some way that we can have them. That would be a feature that would blow out every other one. If you can output them all as separate outputs, that would be insane. Or maybe you could make it like a surround sound mix. You could have an output be surround sound and every single input is like a separate channel. That might be kind of sick. Like you do a 5.1, a 5.1 would give you 6 outputs and it wouldn't actually be surround sound, but it would let you do that. It needs some EQ. I know. I need to EQ this thing a little bit more. I haven't done this yet. And also coming directly from here, let me tell me how this sounds if we do this. See, I only have 1.4 dB of high-end boost there. If I bring that up a little bit more, how's that? That's still only like I think I did like 2 to 3 dB on the Go XLR of high-end boost. Does that help a little bit? I got to take a look. I literally have spent less than 2 minutes EQing my voice on this one. We'll figure it out. So many things on here. Better? Beacon said might explode. Dude, having an output that separates all the different tracks would be a game changer. What's the heavy cut in the low end? We had a resonant frequency that I believe was in either the mic stand or the microphone itself. And so you'd get like a hum here that we found was directly at 103 hertz. And we cut it out. It got rid of it entirely. This is something I'll talk about. I'm going to talk about this in the Beacon mic tutorial coming out next week. Is this a green screen? Does it look like a green screen? No, it's just incredible lighting. In a really cool room. Someone asked me earlier, so who was it that asked if this was chroma'd? Like if I was green screened. Nope, this is just the new setting. You can see halfway through, by the way. Look at this. Halfway through. Wait, where's the shot? There we go. Halfway through, doors appear over there. Oh, I didn't even notice the camera was in the shot. Was it always in the shot? No, because I had to reset everything up. I actually shot this. I shot the second half like 8 hours after the first half. Okay, it was in the shot for the first half. I can't find the shot. Wait, here? There we go. Yeah, the dog comes in. So we had this video ended up coming out a day late. We had people delivering doors. We had someone coming over to work and help clean. It was just a messy day, so it pushed everything back a day. But no, this is but yeah, I'm looking at it, and we definitely need to brighten up the key light, which I did in the video coming out tomorrow. So we'll see how much better that one looks. Looks like a green screen. No, that's just right out here. I also set up some new lights on this wall that you'll see in the new video. You'll see this wall will be a little bit more purple over here. Dude, I'm just so pumped about this space. Super pumped about this space. Can't wait to hear it when, wait, sounds very dull compared to the shotgun mic. Any dynamic mic is going to sound a little bit dull. Again, I do need to EQ it quite a bit, but and we'll be able to fix a lot of it. But like in general, the shotgun mic, especially in a little bit of a noisier room where we're hearing some really bright reflections, like this microphone sounds like overly bright. So going from this to a dynamic mic, where generally they are really dull and you have to really compensate for it, which I haven't done yet. Yeah. Thank you for reviewing Beacon products. I actually like the $150 mixers. I do not stream. Would love to have those controls. Dude, seriously, people are sleeping on the Beacon mix. The $150 Beacon mix. It's dope. Speaking of recording on separate tracks, how about Zoom Live Track? I've literally never heard of that. Changing scenes makes the mic sound change? No, changing scenes, when I've been changing scenes, when I go to this scene, I've just been switching microphones. Just on the Beacon Mix Create, I've been muting one and unmuting the other. You can see now I'm using the shotgun mic again. Now I'm using the dynamic mic. I still need to dynamic mic. My tongue felt really heavy there. I still need to EQ this mic quite a bit. I haven't done this yet. I'll do it before the next stream. Just so much to do. Who has time to EQ a mic? Less than 50 Beacon Mix Creates left. Are you serious? How do you know this, by the way? Are they tweeting it? How do you know how many are left? That's Beacon Twitter. There it is. Beacon. Are they updating it? Tweets and replies. Are they the one telling you? I love responses like this. I think you're missing out on a larger base by not including OS 10 at launch. There are people working from home post-COVID. These people have the money to purchase multiples of your products. I'm going to give a little bit more cynical response. They're giving like the PR response and the positive response. What this guy really said was, I use Mac and I want one. Make it for me. Such a small minority. Like these guys had to stress to get this thing launched on time. Like they had to pick and choose what were the most important things. And a very small minority of people would have purchased it for Mac OS. But he wants it for Mac OS. Beacon CEO in chat. Just have Ryan EQ it. I can EQ stuff. I have a Mac and I want it. I have a Mac and I want it. Trust me. I don't disagree. I'm excited for them to release it too. But like to come out and be like, you're missing out. Like, no, buddy, you're missing out. don't make this don't make this don't make this about like this is on you. Like, no, you want it. I'm a developer. They're using Shopify. There's a hidden API. Oh, sick. By the way, I totally agree. I want them to release Mac OS as well. Like the Mac OS version. But like from a business standpoint, they would have had to sacrifice features that 90% of their audience wanted, that 99% of their audience wanted, just to appease the 1%. You can't do that. That's a terrible business strategy. We're Mac users. We definitely spend money on stuff. No, I get that. You got to spend a lot of money on stuff to make up for streamers that are PC based. Beacon Mix has 199 left. The white has 199 left. The black has 320 left. The Mix Create has 37 left. I'm also a Mac user. I'm also a Mac user. I only use this PC for gaming and streaming. Everything else I do on my Mac. Just ordered my Beacon Mix Create. It was back in stock today. Yeah, apparently there's only 37 left. Dude, these things are going like crazy. When did they announce it? Hold on. When did they say that they were back in stock? Less than an hour ago. 56 minutes ago? I am going to hit him up. I'm going to ask him if it's possible to set an output that separates all the channels, because that would be that's actually something that I feel like a lot of users want. Is like, hey, can I separate tracks for editing later? Like that is a big content creation feature, to be able to have all the outputs recorded separately. I'm going to hit him up and see if there's a way to do that. Because that'd be sick. That'd be really dope. OBS already does that. I know. We talked about that. But if you go through some kind of mixing thing that sums it together, you're not really able to do that anymore. If you want something with submixes, right, where you have different volumes for different outputs and stuff, like there's nothing that does that and then also still does it. So you have to sacrifice submixes and easy controls and stuff. Voice meter, banana plus OBS, dude. Heck, voice meter. I don't care. Like, I hate when people say voice meter. Voice meter is not the same thing. Voice meter is a terrible experience. And it's missing half the features that this stuff has. It's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. Not even close. So I get that voice meter is cool for people that have spent hours and hours figuring it out. It's not the same thing. Heck, voice meter. It's a terrible user experience. Yeah, but it's free, right? And it needs to be free because no one would pay for it. Like, guys, I'll say what I said at the beginning of the stream. Voice meter is made by people who understand audio, like professionally. Like clearly, when I go through that, I see things like, oh, I remember this from my recording class. Like, I remember this from college. I've never used it since then. And they add in all these crazy pro features that no one needs, and they make it a nightmare to understand. You shouldn't need a degree and 5 hours toying around with the software and watching tutorials to be able to use something that just routes audio. Shouldn't have to do that. What do you do instead of Voicemeeter if you want to record without the music you stream with? So my recording, the way I do that right now is the way I do recording is, well, one, you can put the audio into there separately. Like literally, you could just not put your music through your beacon stuff and just capture your music on its own inside the audio mixer, and then have that go through a different track, because you can set multiple tracks, multiple recording tracks. So then when you set your stream, you include that audio track. When you set your recording, you don't include that audio track. And that's a great way to do it. You don't have to use Voicemeeter. It's actually really simple. I use 4K Caps Utility to record all my camera inputs because I have 4 camera inputs. And then I grab a specific microphone input that it asks you like, hey, what's your microphone input on this? And I do that. So it just depends on what you want to do. But like, I'm not arguing that Voicemeeter is not powerful. That's not my argument. My argument is that it is so counterintuitive that it becomes nearly useless. Question. Using my Wave XLR and the Beacon Mix, I still get audio separation, right? You don't lose anything. And I don't know what you mean by my audio separation. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. But yeah, I mean, I'm using both the Wave XLR and the Beacon Mix right now. I covered it in the tutorial. It basically works the exact same way as using the Go XLR. So just, I have my second microphone. The microphone you're hearing right now is going into a Wave XLR. And so I actually have the Wave XLR software running, and I have a noise gate on that. And then the stream output, I just grab in the second one. So I just have one thing going through it, going out to the stream output, comes into the hardware. Once they have VSTs, the only reason I'm actually using the software instead of just grabbing the microphone, because you don't even technically have to have the software running. The only reason I am is because I want to be able to put VSTs on it. I want to be able to put a noise gate. I'll EQ it, I'll compress it a little bit, and then have all that come through and go into this one right here. So this is my Wave XLR input right here. I could also grab just directly the microphone in. So that works. I could grab the Wavelink monitor output, which is what you hear. So I could have a handful of different Wavelink outputs coming into here. But you don't lose anything by combining them together. You just grab what you want from the other. You just figure out which one you want to be your control device, which I assume would be Beacon, because that's the whole reason you bought it. You plug your microphone into the Wave XLR. You send it, put on whatever VSTs you want. Send it to your stream output. And there you go. Capture it right in here. Voicemeeter is reducing the quality of input and output sound. Is it really? Is it like compressing it? If that's so, I have never heard that before. I'd need to verify that before I start saying it. Like, the whole goal of this whole Voicemeeter talk was not to like talk crap on Voicemeeter. That wasn't the plan. Voicemeeter has its purpose. It's not the same purpose as Wavelink or Beacon. What's the current processing power that computers have? Oh, with the current processing power that computers have, what's the advantage of using a dual PC stream setup? Not much anymore. The only advantage is sometimes you boot up games, like trying to find the balance of like, how far can I push this game without dropping frames in my stream? And like, I've had to deal with that a little bit and like figure it out. Like, oh, boot up a game, got to make sure I have this one running. Like, I had Halo causing dropped frames in OBS until I like capped the frame rate and stuff. So unoptimized games can hit your stream a little bit. And so I missed that a little bit about my dual PC setup. Just knowing that no matter what I did in my game, it didn't affect my stream quality in any way whatsoever was kind of nice. Also, being able, like, if something goes wrong and your gaming PC restarts, it doesn't end your stream. That's kind of nice. But the main reason people did it is because PCs didn't have enough power to do both, you know? Now they do, especially with NVENC encoder. And the latest, dude, if you get a 30 series GPU, dude, you are good. You are gaming and streaming whatever you want, if you can find one. Curious how well the Wave XLR works with a regular mic as opposed to Create. Both provide submixes. Curious how well the Wave XLR works with the regular mix. Yeah, so, I mean, theoretically, I think you should be able to do it because the way the Beacon Mix works is it literally just like grabs different input. It doesn't work the same way. Like Beacon Mix Create is like rerouting audio and creating virtual devices and stuff, basically creating a fake mixer in your PC versus the the Beacon Mix is just controlling things that already exist. Like you assign it to Spotify and it sees the Spotify volume in the Windows settings and it just tweaks that. Like it's working a totally different way. So I'd imagine you probably could. I should give that a shot. See if you can change. Like you should be able to theoretically set up your submixes inside the WaveLink app and then just change like gain levels, like turn it up and down. It keeps the same ratio there, and you just change how much is going into that submix. Like you should be able to do that. Rode Pod Mic for $50 is a steal? Oh yeah, bud. By the way, Tracy, thank you for the 10 months, Thrifty Boys, Adam's Vlogs and Hobbies. Thank you for the 10 months. Also, Calvi, all three of you, 10 months, Thrifty Boys. Thank you guys. Welcome back. Good to have you all. What did you gain from the Beacon Mix versus the PC panel? Beacon Mix or Beacon Mix Create? Beacon Mix versus the PC panel, really the only thing you're gaining is a screen. You're gaining a device that looks nicer, has a screen on there so you can see the feedback and stuff a little bit better. But for the most part, they work very similarly. They're basically just controlling other volume levels built into Windows. That's all it is. So they do work very similarly. With the PC panel, you're getting, at least the PC panel Pro, you're getting 4 faders and 5 knobs. So you have more control. With the Beacon Mix, you're getting, just a cleaner interface, built-in screen. So like some visual feedback. Beacon Mix Create is very different though. Beacon Mix Create is something totally different. The PC panel is literally just a controller. All it does is it hijacks volume knobs that are already inside Windows and it adjusts them. Beacon Mix Create literally creates virtual inputs and outputs in your PC, sums them all together in a software and gives you like complete control over everything. Gives you submixes, gives you muting modes, it gives you a routing table. Like it's not just hijacking and controlling certain ins and outs. It's actually creating a virtual mixer inside your PC. Beacon Mix Create is already sold out again. Hold on, let's take a look. Oh my gosh. That was live for an hour. An hour and 8 minutes to sell out. Jeez. I'm really happy for those guys. Dude, I just like good people. Like, not only do I give those guys high praise for like creating a really cool product, but they're just Like, if you've ever spoken to any of the guys at Beacon, they're just good people. I'm really happy for them. What are your thoughts on expensive gaming headsets such as the Arctis Pros versus studio headphones such as DT990 Pros? I've never found much of, I mean, in general, like those headphones are more designed for high fidelity raw recording and hearing all those fine details that games just don't even output those frequencies. Like, there's just not a huge advantage to using high-end studio. I mean, it will be a little bit better as long as you have a good DAC to go with it, which is really cool that the Beacon Mix Create has a high impedance output. But like, for me, it's more about functionality than like super high-end audio. So, which is like the wireless, being able to run wireless is such a big deal for me. Being able to run wireless with a line in, so I can plug my microphone directly into it or whatever, so I can use it as my output to everything I'm doing. Like, really big deal. Way bigger deal than like tweaker audio. And if I really want high-end audio, I've got $700 set of monitors next to me, and I switch to those a lot. Do you ever see yourself being a CEO of a company that sells products, services? I feel like we already do sell services. I feel like StreamBeats is a service. We just don't really sell it. We give it away for free. But like, yeah, sure. Actually, I should say that's a long-term goal of mine. I have something in mind. I've talked about it a little bit. But can we talk about business for a second? Because here's the deal. Like, I've now, this month, I'm starting 2 more companies. And one of them is actually something that we're selling. But it will literally at the end of this month, I'll own 8 corporations, 8 LLCs. And not all of them do stuff. You know, like one of them is our umbrella, like Senpai Industries is the umbrella corporation that owns Senpai Gaming, Senpai Records, Senpai Tech, like all those things. Senpai Industries owns all those. So like, I don't work on Senpai Industries. I do all the other things that Senpai Industries owns. Like, I have 2 real estate companies that I don't do like anything for except for make a decision every 3 months, right? Like, is this what I want to invest in? Is this what I want, is this an investment I want to put money into? And I'm okay with not having that money for an extended period of time so it can come back with interest. But like, I don't do any of the real estate. One of them is for fix and flips. One of them is for long-term rentals. And we haven't even done a long-term rental before. All we've done is a handful. Like, we just finished our 3rd fix and flip. And I didn't do them. Like, literally, I use it to send money to a friend of mine who does the fix and flips. So that's 2 other companies that I don't do anything for. Senpai Tech, haven't really built anything for that yet. But there are 4 companies that I'm actively engaged in working on right now. And that's why when you guys are like, oh, he's 2 minutes late for a stream, heck you. Suck it up. I'm doing stuff, man. But the hard thing about running companies is you learn that unless you like just absolutely create something mind-blowing, like for the most part, the way you create something game-changing and like world-changing is first you have to make $1 million company, right? Anybody, I'm gonna be real with you. That sounds like a lot of money. $1 million in equity in a company is very different than $1 million in cash. But first you have to create $1 million company. Then you use the revenue from that $1 million company to make a $10 million company. And then you take the revenue from that $10 million company and you make a $100 million company. And then you take the revenue of the $100 million company, and that's how you make a $1 billion company. Like that for someone who doesn't have just an extreme set of skills, right? And also hits the market at a time where there's incredible growth and there are opportunities, and you happen to be able to capitalize on an opportunity that is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, Elon Musk and PayPal. The once in a lifetime opportunity, and he was one of the few people who saw the opportunity and had the foresight, like the foresight to see it and the skills to create it, right? Like that's not a normal thing. Sure, you can create a $1 billion company as your first company if that happens, right? Can't expect that. So what I said is the more natural way to do it. And I've accomplished 2 of those so far. Right? So I'd say the YouTube channel was the original $1 million company. By the way, $1 million company doesn't mean that it makes $1 million in a year. Generally, you can value a company at what it makes in like 10 years. That's a general rule of thumb. Sometimes it's in 5 years. Sometimes it's in 20 years. It depends on a lot of things. But like an average, just if you want to throw out a random number, that's a good middle ground. What it makes in 10 years is what it's worth. So YouTube channel, $1 million, $2 million, maybe $3 million company at this point. But at the point when I started Stream Beats, which I would consider my $10 million company, I would say my YouTube channel was my $1 million company. I used the revenue from my YouTube channel to create Stream Beats, which I would consider my $10 million company. And now we're taking the revenue from Stream Beats and I'm investing it in 3 things. This is why I don't get a lot of sleep. But investing in 3 things, one of which I can tell you about. And it feels like a fairly lateral move or like the obvious move. I'm not telling you the 2 other ones yet. One of them we'll announce next month. And I've teased it a little bit, but I believe that while Stream Beats is a $10 million product, investing it and turning Senpai Records, using the Stream Beats revenue to turn Senpai Records into an actual record label could be the $100 million move. I think there's a good chance. There's such, like the music industry is such a mess right now. It's so broken and it's still so massive. Every single person on the planet listens to music. I feel like that could be grabbed by Twitter and turned into an ableist comment, but the majority of people on the planet listen to music. And the music industry is broken, and entertainment is evolving so fast that seeing an opportunity there would be huge. And if you guys aren't aware, we just finished building a recording studio, which you haven't seen yet. It's mind blowing. I will show you when we rebrand the channel. Long-term rentals are exploitive? That's ridiculous. Only exploitive long-term rentals are exploitive. Most people rent. What a weird thing to say. It's like property ownership is inherently theft. Someone watched Bo Burnham too many times and took that phrase a little too seriously. But I think that YouTube channel being the $1 million company, Stream Beats being the $10 million product, because Stream Beats isn't a company. Senpai Records is the company. But Stream Beats being the $10 million product and then using that to build Senpai Records into a $100 million company. I think we've got a huge opportunity there. I also just started with software developers on another product that's completely unrelated to anything that we're doing, but is related to my skill set. And I don't want to talk about it yet, but I am probably going to have you guys help me with beta testing of this thing. It won't be ready. I won't be ready to tell you about it for like another 6 months. But when I do, you have a skill set? Kinda. It might be a little generous to say that. I'm not an expert at anything I do. I just like to learn a lot about a lot of things. You going to exploit us too? Hella gonna exploit you guys. I'm about to exploit everybody over here. And then just as of the last 2 weeks, just decided to start another start another company. It was kind of a spur of the moment decision. I don't know if it could be $100 million company, but I do think it could be a $10 to $50 million company. Again, if we do it right. And I believe I've already picked up the beginnings of the team necessary to do this. And again, I think there's a huge opportunity. Can we change Notice Me Senpai to Exploit Me Senpai? Can we make that a thing? Exploit Me Senpai? That's the only way to get rid of virtue signalers. Is just to laugh. Exploit Me Senpai sounds sussy. It sounds exactly the way it's supposed to sound. It's exactly what you want to hear. Rating Harris 0 on Glassdoor. Rating Harris 0 on Glassdoor. Doesn't pay his mods. What is on Glassdoor? It took me a second, like, what is Glassdoor? Oh, that's that thing where you can like rate companies and stuff. Oh. Yeah, so got 3 major products working on right now. Two of them, I believe, like here's the thing, is starting that first $1 million company is really difficult. I'm going to say something that Twitter's probably going to hate, but it's very, very hard. Like our revenue, by the way, just want you guys to know, I feel like I want to throw out a disclaimer here. Kenzie and I do not want for money. And by that, I don't mean like, by that, I mean, we don't want for more money. Like, me doing all these things has nothing to do with us living the high life. Like, I pay myself a good salary. I make good money. My net income is like $10K a month, which is awesome. That is a number that a lot of people wish they could make. That's great. Everything else gets invested back into the business. I mean, you guys know, I'm trying to figure out how to word this properly. We're going off on a tangent here, but it's an important tangent. We're going to talk about money and business here. I've been very open with the income. I've gone up to a point, like during the high of Stream Beats, I think we made 1 month, we probably made 160, 170K. The business did, because there was 1 month, like at Stream Beats peak, it probably hit like 115, 120K. And then, of course, we have the YouTube channel, and I was still on Twitch at the time, and brand deals and stuff. And that month, I paid myself 10K. All of my companies that I own made probably 160, 180K, and I paid myself 10K. And everything else, that's why we're able to build the recording studio. That's why I'm able to hire people and pay them well. It's because I pay myself 10K. No matter what the company makes, it could make 60K a month in a month. It could make 200K in a month. I pay myself 10K. Covers our rent, covers our car payments, and it covers our food and baby stuff. That's what I mean by we don't have a want from you. Exploit people? I hella exploit people. But that's what I mean by we don't have a want for money, meaning we don't have a want for more money. We do well. We are very comfortable. We live in a great home. I'm very grateful for everything I have. When I make this, like when I talk about like, I want to turn Senpai Records into a $100 million company, it's not because I'm like, I need more money in my bank account. It's, I don't know if I want to call it a pride thing or just a drive thing. Like I could quit everything tomorrow and probably live comfortably for the rest of my life. I want to see how far I can go. I want to see what I can create. I want to see how much I can help people in multiple industries. I want to be remembered. I want to change something enough that people know who I am. And that I'm proud of what I've done. When I'm done, when I quit, when everything eventually dies, which it will, everything eventually dies. I want to know I gave it my all and I didn't quit before I hit my potential. That's what it is. That's the main thing. Being remembered is a nice perk, but that's the main thing. When I'm all done, I want to know that I gave it my all. That being said, I'm trying to remember where I was going. I went on so many tangents right there. I'm like working my way back in my head. So you want to be the very best? Dude, like no one ever was. How do people make money on these 24/7 YouTube music stations? I honestly don't know. Unless you have like YouTube Premium where it has nothing to do with ads and you're just paid per time watched. There's a reason I don't do it because I would lose so much money doing that. So I really appreciate this moment. I had a direction I was going. We were talking about business. Someone originally asked if I want to create products. The other $100 million company is a product that is not free, but it is going to save a lot of people a lot of money, and I'm really excited about it. And then eventually, that's what I was going to talk about. I remembered. I remembered. I got it. I was talking about that first $1 million company. Whew. Oh my gosh, we made it back. That first $1 million company. Because okay, we're making it back. We're figuring this out. Remember I said I'm going to say something that Twitter's not going to like. And that I wanted to preface it. I wanted you guys to know how much I take for myself, because this is going to sound like I need more. And I wanted you to know, like, that's why I have no want for money, because this is how much we pay ourselves. The rest gets invested into real estate, into our businesses, into other businesses, into the businesses that are currently running or whatever. The rest is literally all invested into building, because I care so much more about that than living a luxurious life. We live a great life. Very happy. Making 20, like using content creation and getting up to making 20 to 30K a month is incredibly difficult. That is so much work. It's so much grind to get yourself and get your companies, your YouTube channel, or whatever. It doesn't even have to be content creation, but just to the point where you have an asset that is profiting 20 to 30K a month is very, very difficult. That is probably the hardest you'll ever work, because there's no guarantee, there's no safety net. Until you get there, there's no safety net. It could fall, it could completely disappear. And so it's terrifying. You have to take a lot of risks. You have to work harder than anyone around you. Getting that first 20 to 30K a month is one of the hardest things. Once you hit that 20 to 30K, advancing that, pushing that up to 100K a month, a fraction as difficult. Because now suddenly, and by the way, assuming you're not an idiot, because if you can get yourself up to 20, 30K a month, and you can keep your monthly expenses at like 3K a month, which is what we did. I would say that is one of the key things we did that brought us to where we are now with owning 8 companies and blah, 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 right? Is the fact that I with YouTube and Twitch and, all the other things, brand deals, affiliate links, whatever, we got ourselves to 20 to 30K a month and did not increase our monthly expenses. A lot of people, as they make more money, they get lifestyle creep. If you're not familiar with what lifestyle creep is, it's, let's say you're making 3-4K a month, and you pay rent and you pay a car payment and health insurance and whatever and food, and that's your 3 to 4K a month. Suddenly you either get a raise or you start something new and you get an additional $1,000 a month as a side gig, or $2,000 a month. Maybe you start Ubering on the side or Lyft driving on the side. You get an extra $2,000 a month, and you find ways to spend that $2,000 a month. That's what a lot of people do. That is the biggest mistake you can make, is that lifestyle creep. If you start a side hustle, if you start working hard, that money, pretend that money's not yours. Don't change anything about how you spend your money. But we, using YouTube and Twitch and the content creation stuff, we managed to get up to like 20 to 30K a month, which was huge. I think my biggest month on YouTube was like 22K. And my biggest month on Twitch was also, I think, 22K. They weren't overlapping, so there was always, I'd say we probably got ourselves up to 30K a month just on like Twitch and YouTube. And I was able, because we didn't move, because we stayed at the same townhome, our rent was like $1,500-1,600 a month. I was able to invest as much of that as possible into Streambeats. And if you can get yourself up to 20 to 30K a month, you essentially have 20K of, I don't want to say fun money, because that's not what we're talking about. 20K of free investment funds that you can try. And if you put that into something and it fails, you have it again the next month. It comes back every month. As long as you're not lifestyle creeping, as long as you're not spending all the money you're making, you have 20K of opportunity every single month. And if you have 20K of opportunity money every single month, give it enough time. Something will work. As long as you're not an idiot, something will work. And you can get yourself up to 100K a month. So getting that initial 20 to 30K a month is the hardest thing you can possibly do. Beyond that, it's just a matter of diligence, consistency, work ethic, and how far you want to go. Right? If you make that 20 to 30K and you sit around 9 hours a day, you're not going to get up to 100K. But there's so much less stress. There are so many more opportunities. You don't have to grind it out and figure out and weasel your way up there. There are opportunities, and you have the safety net to try 10 things, and 9 of them can fail, and the 10th one can work, and it'll get you to 100K. So anyway, cancel me, Twitter. Do you watch Demon Slayer? Because the most recent episode is freaking lit. Don't tell me about it. I have been watching Demon Slayer, but Kenzie flew to Nevada on Saturday, and we don't watch it without each other. So she gets back tomorrow, and I will be watching it tomorrow, and it's killing me. I heard both Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer this week were mind-blowing, and I haven't watched either, and I wish people would stop talking about it. What should be the first video on a new YouTube channel? I feel like having a video where you introduce yourself is a little bit cheesy. It is. Don't do that. Nobody watches that. I mean, if you want to put that as your trailer so when people find you, they can see some stuff, that's fine. But even then, don't introduce yourself. No one cares about you introducing yourself. I would say make the best content you can make. Don't worry about what your first one is. Your first one should be no different than your 10th one, except for your 10th one should be a little bit better because you've made 10 videos. How do you have time to watch anything? I have time to watch 2 episodes a week, and it's Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan. That's not actually true. I've started watching, what's it called? Mushoku Tensei? Like the jobless reincarnation show. That's actually been real. I've been really enjoying that. And I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes a night as I'm like winding down, taking notes, making a to-do list for the next day and stuff. Do you see 10K a month, or is it pre-tax? No, that is so it's 15K gross, 10K net. Why does it make sense to have business segregated as opposed to big one? If you ever want to bring on investors in the future, being able to sell only portions of one. Like if I just had Senpai Industries and that had my YouTube stuff, had my gaming stuff, had my music stuff and everything, and like someone was interested in investing in my music stuff, I would have to also sell a part of my gaming stuff, right? Also, a lot of these companies that I'm starting have partial equity owners in them. So Senpai Gaming has the guy who does my real estate stuff with me, he actually is an original investor in Senpai Gaming, and he owns 5% of the company. Another company I'm starting, the 2 companies I'm starting this month, both of them, one of them I'm starting with Alex and Scott, 2 members of the team here. And then another one, I'm starting with a new member. I can't tell you about it yet. I'll tell you next month. Starting with another member of the team. So like having equity splits makes a lot more sense. And in general, another big one is liability. If, let's say, Streambeats does something kind of bad. It's not in the plans, but let's say I go off the deep end, or maybe I make a mistake, and Streambeats makes a little uh-oh, right? And we get sued. The separation of entities, and also making sure we handle it properly. The separation of entities allows us to make sure if they sue us for everything we have, they can only take money from that company. They can't also take money from my real estate stuff. They can't take it from the YouTube channel. They can't take it from my Twitch channel, or this streaming channel, whatever. So a separation and liability is also a big part of it. Because like if I get sued, if one of my companies gets sued, and that company only has $10,000, and there's a separation liability, and they try to sue me for $10 million, I can be like, bro, it's only got $10,000. Maybe this other company over here has $10 million, but they can't touch that, right? Totally separate thing. This one, you sued this one. You didn't sue this one. You have no grounds to sue this one. You can only sue this one. So doesn't that make tax season to pay with so many companies? Yeah, it does. I do have a good accountant, an attorney that takes care of, and Alex to like take care of a lot of that stuff. So I try to not stress myself out over it so much. Also, Kenzie helps out with a lot of taxes stuff. But for the most part, every company we make, we run it through our attorney and our accountant. And so stuff should be taken care of throughout the year, basically. Can you use DBAs to separate liability? I don't believe so, but I'm not sure. I only learn what I only know what I need to know. Who's your favorite Demon Slayer character? Probably Zenitsu when he's asleep. No, needs an LLC. That's what I figured, but I don't like giving advice that I'm not 100% sure on. Does the Wave XLR have VSTs now, or would it make it unusable with the mix create? No, Wave XLR has VSTs. And what you can do is you can put your microphone into the Wave XLR, attach VSTs, send it out to the audience mix, or what's it called? The master mix? There's another, I don't remember what it's called. I actually have it open right here. One second. Stream output. Send it out your stream output with the VSTs on it, and then capture the stream output as one of your inputs in Beacon Mix Create. And now you have, that's what I'm doing right now. I have a noise gate on this microphone. And through the Wave XLR, this microphone is plugged into the Wave XLR, the shotgun mic I'm talking into right now. Plugged into the Wave XLR, noise gate on it. I still have to add like EQ and stuff. I just barely got it set up before I went live. And then the stream output is being captured by the Beacon Mix. And that's how it works. That is how the world works. That is how the world works. Why are you naming all your companies Senpai? Why aren't you naming all your companies Senpai? Who's your best? Hanji? Hanji is one of my favorite Attack on Titan characters. I also love Mikasa. Mikasa deserves love, you know. Oh, did I miss a super chat from Codations? I did. Also, I missed a couple of them. I'm a little bit behind. Let me catch up on all these. By the way, you shouldn't have to super chat multiple times. If I get behind, I'll catch up on them in a little bit. I always will. Ashish. Does DSLR record better than OBS recording? Yes. It's always going to record at a much higher bit rate. You're always going to lose a little bit of quality going into OBS and recording that way. Depending on your bit rate, depending on how it is, like it could be negligible. I believe I recorded the Fiverr video directly in OBS. The one that we recently posted. Not necessarily. I mean, in general, like you're recording internally at like 100 megabits per second or 60 megabits per second. And usually in OBS, you're doing it like 6 megabits per second. So I know you could crank it up, but for the most part, like I've found a lot of dropped frames happen that way. For the most part, like I've just found that the simpler solution to get high quality is to record internally. I know it's not entirely like that's not a perfect answer, but that is the general answer that most people need to know. Every situation has an exception. That doesn't mean I'm going to tell you every single exception that very few people need to know. Not everyone has an FX3. You can record ProRes in OBS. Look, I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying, how much is that extra effort? What are the chances of that hurting a new camera user versus helping a new camera user? That's what I'm always balancing. People don't understand this. People always point out exceptions to the rule or fringe scenarios. I have to judge, like, is the advice I'm giving going to help people or hurt people? And if I say, no, you can get a better quality via OBS, you can get one. How many people are going to do that and are going to hurt their quality more than they're going to help it? Most people are going to hurt their quality by doing it in OBS. So you get high quality stuff. In general, you get high quality recording internally. You're not going to drop frames. It's going to be good. That's why I say that. Not because you can't get higher quality in OBS, but because you need to know what you're doing to do it in OBS. And it's going to cause more problems than it's going to help. Like someone said, get XRGB from camera and record 444. Like you could probably, I don't even know what XRGB is. You could probably do that. If I were to say that on stream, that'd be irresponsible. Okay, let me keep going. If you guys want to know how to record in OBS at a higher quality, I'm sure Camera Tim's got a video. He can show you how to do this. That applies to like 1% of my audience, maybe, and you have to do it just right. So I'm not going to talk about it. Codations said, do you have a video on the business side of YouTube full time? I want to set myself up when the time comes. Just hit 58,000 subs. That's awesome, first of all. I don't have a huge video on it because honestly, I feel like it's not super important. Wait, hold on. Camera Tim is gonna ban me, and then he tagged. Oh my gosh. Yeah, well. Sorry, Solid Guts. Looks like I'm gonna have to unmod Camera Tim. He's taking advantage of his authority, and he's used it for his own personal gain. And he's gonna have to learn his lesson. Don't worry, Camera Tim. It's only for 300 seconds. I'll put it back on. How about this? I'll put it back on the moment Solid Guts comes back into chat. No, in terms of business and YouTube, there's very little to understand in terms of business. For the most part, it's less of a matter of like, what's an S Corp? What's a C Corp? There are always people you can talk to that can help you answer that question better than you'll be able to figure out by watching YouTube videos. And if you are trying to figure it out in YouTube videos, you're probably not at a point where you need to know it yet. When it comes to business, what you need to know is consumer behavior. You need to understand what's going to make you money, what's worth your time, how to build an audience. If you focus on creating a great product that people want, I've just found that everything else comes in line. Everything else comes after, and it will find its way to you as long as you keep it in your mind and like, hey, you're starting to make more money. You're probably you probably need to make sure that you legally handle things properly. You can also probably afford an accountant that can do that for you. In fact, having an accountant at that point, by the time you're ready to afford an accountant will actually save you money. So like that's the kind of stuff I'm talking. Don't be your own accountant. The moment you need an accountant is the moment you'll be able to afford an accountant. And they'll help you know, do I need to start an S Corp or a C Corp or an LLC or a DBA or whatever? Like, if you focus on creating the best content you can, you focus on diversifying your income and being creative with how you make money, the rest will come in time. That's my biggest business advice. I'm not saying forget about it and don't ever think about it. I'm just saying make sure it's not distracting you from your growth and your progress. And that's the same thing I say about like finding an agency or joining an org or getting sponsorships. Like, so many people focus so heavily on those things. And there are times when you should. If you're a pro gamer, focus on an org. If you're a pro gamer, try to get on an org. That's the only way you're going to compete, you know? But like, if you're trying to be a content creator and you are spending mental energy and time trying to reach out before you're ready, it's just going to hold you back. I've never, every agency I've signed with, I never reached out to. They reached out to me. I focused on the content. And by the time I started growing and had a couple 100,000 subscribers and I was ready for an agency, they were reaching out to me. I had 3 or 4 different agencies reach out to me and I was able to do my diligence and research and pick the one that I thought would be the best. And I did. Sponsorships. I never reach out for sponsorships. I absolutely never reach out for sponsorships. Most of them reach out to me. Sometimes once a month or so, I have a call with my agent and she's like, hey, is there a company that you want to work with that we can reach out to? And I make a giant list of like, hey, it'd be really cool to get contacts. We're starting to do videos about this. Let's get some content about this. Or let's make some connections. We're starting to do this kind of thing. I'm starting this company. Let's reach out with this. And because I waited to get a good agent, they now reach out to these companies for me. I try really hard not to let the business side affect the quality of my product. And I would consider that something that's a decision that's made me, that's really contributed to my success. A Quirky One, thank you for the 9 months. Welcome back. James Curry, thank you for the super chat. Alt Nico. Wait. I missed a couple. Hold on. Whoa. Corey Bite. Whew, almost missed that one. Advice for developing a brand that looks aesthetically pleasing with very little skill to make things. Yes, make a lot of things. Make a lot of things. If you make some money with what you're doing, hire someone on Fiverr, or 99 Designs is where we got our Senpai logo. Oh, Solid Guts is back. All right, Tim. Tim is back in action. But yeah, no, I made all my designs for a long time and a lot of them were terrible. So pick up some really cheap or free design software and watch some videos and toy around. If you start getting into design, like if you start having designers work on your stuff, it is really good for you to be able to have some kind of understanding of how it works and what looks good. And just getting a basic understanding is going to help a ton. Alt Nico. So basically the Wave XLR and Mix Create can replace the Go XLR. The Wave XLR alone already, each of them alone replace the Go XLR for certain things. I would say the Wave XLR replaces it in terms of hardware, like preamp, and it has all the features of it, right? So it allows you to plug a mic into it and it gives you the faders and stuff. But the reason I never ended up using it full time is because I didn't like using buttons. If I were starting from scratch and I didn't have a ton of money, I mean, it's $160 and it does more than what the Go XLR does. And I'm happy to use buttons to get sub mixes and to you know, and to have and like to control things, like it's not a big deal, but I couldn't justify, like I hated losing the faders and I already had to go XLR. The Mix Create gives you sub mixes and gives you control on the front, but it doesn't give you any kind of hardware like XLR input. And that's really the only thing it's missing. Honestly, that hardware audio processing is the only thing it's missing, but it is what you get with this mic, which is why the Beacon Mix and the Beacon mic, the Beacon Mix Create and the Beacon mic are like a dynamic duo. They are the ultimate audio combo right now because you get everything and more. With your views not doing that great, what are you doing inside YouTube? Actually, lately the views have been doing really well. In general, with like the constraints on tech, like how it's impossible to find a GPU, nobody's building PCs. Over the last year, all tech channels have taken a pretty big hit, but actually the last like month or so have been the best month we've had in like 6 months. Like we made some adjustments. I guess to answer your question, with how the views were going a month ago, we did decide, and how the trend that they've been going on for the last 6 months, we did decide to make a change, because that's going to happen, by the way. No matter how well you're doing, you will hit a downward trend, and you need to pay attention to that, and you need to make changes. If stuff is going down and it's not coming back up, you can't just keep digging your head in and doing the same thing. You have to change something. And we did. And you're gonna see, you'll probably notice, actually, do you guys wanna know the main change that we're making? The biggest change the biggest thing that was hurting the channel was the fact that when we first started the channel 3 years ago, I was literally the first and only person to talk about how you need to be making YouTube content. That if you want to grow on Twitch, you have to grow on more discoverable platforms. I was the first person and only person to say that for like a year. And so when I would make videos talking about that, it was so new and it made so much sense that people got really pumped over it. And I was able to make, you know, maybe 20% gear videos and 80% social media strategy videos or whatever, right? Those videos were like my top videos, tutorial videos, right? Not so much anymore. Now everybody knows it. Everybody says it. And you can only say the same thing so many different ways. And the bottom line is those social media strategy videos, useful ones are very few and far in between now. The last one we did was talking about the combination of live streams, videos, and shorts. And that video didn't do great. It didn't do terrible, but it didn't do great. But there's always, we noticed two things that we were not capitalizing on. One, our gear videos did way better than anything else. Everybody loves watching gear videos. Even people who have no plans on buying one. People just love to see what's out there. They're fun. Gear videos do really well. Also, expanding beyond just streaming stuff and talking about gaming. If we expanded into gaming and talked about general gaming gear like mice, keyboards, headsets, monitors, whatever, that expanded into, because almost every streamer is in the gaming sphere, but it's a small portion of the gaming circle. So expanding into gaming not only gives us a larger audience, but also gives us a lot more gear to work with. And so you'll be seeing a little bit of a shift where 3 years ago we were doing 20% gear videos and 80% social media strategies. Well, I've shared with you almost every social media strategy that you need to know. When new stuff comes out, when things change, I will always talk about it. I'll always try to give you relevant advice, but I'm not about to start just repeating myself over and over again because some of you guys will watch it. So we will start emphasizing fun gear videos a little bit more. And dude, the last couple weeks of videos have just been like top-notch videos. They've been great. I'd love to see some thumbnail tutorials. Yeah, I mean, stuff like that we'd love to do more of. There's already here's the thing though, that like we don't have like a Photoshop expert on our team. We do okay, and we make good thumbnails, but like we're all kind of bootstrapping that part. We're actually looking for a graphic designer right now. We're starting I've mentioned it on stream a couple times. We're starting a what's it called? internship program, a paid internship program. We're looking for a graphic design intern. Give it a shot, see how it goes, see if we can find someone full-time by doing that. But the reason we haven't done stuff like that yet is because there are so many graphic designers who do it so much better than we do. And I just can't bring myself to do a whole tutorial on something that so many people know better than I do, you know? Where do I send my resume? Alex, by the way, if you see BR Alex Rivera in chat, that's my business guy. He's the one who's been actually setting up the internship program. Do you want to toss a link in chat, Alex? Was Sam the old thumbnail guy? Sam was the old thumbnail guy. Sam was great at thumbnails. How can Sam crush so hard in Premiere and not be a Photoshop god? Sam doesn't touch Premiere. Sam uses Final Cut. Also, Sam doesn't work for me anymore. Sam hasn't worked for me in like 3 months. Anyway. I don't remember what the question was. All right, Alex is going to drop the link in chat. I will point it out when it's in there. Look for a link from BR Alex Rivera. Bralix Rivera. He's a mod, so look for the little gear next to his name. Okay, let me keep going on these super chats. How long have we been live? Almost 2 hours. We've been doing longer streams lately. They've been kind of fun. I've been enjoying. Oh, there it is. Hey guys. There it is. Dang it, I was really hoping it wouldn't do the 3 dots. Here, let me click it. There we go. All right, there's our graphic design internship application. Sam quit. Sam and I parted ways. It's been very clear for the past like year that Sam's wanted to do his own thing. He's wanted to become his own content creator. And when we met like 2 or 3 days before he left for Christmas, I sat down with him and we were both just like, hey man, maybe now's the time you do this. Maybe you change your round trip flight into a one-way flight. And we both left that conversation really happy with the future. So it wasn't like I fired him because I was angry at him or anything, but it was just really clear he wanted to do his own thing. $2680 by 1280, 2580 by 1280. Yeah, it's 1440p, but cropped to a 2:1 ratio, 2-to-1 ratio. I need more than $500 a month. Like in worse. This isn't supposed to be a full-time thing. This is just supposed to be a part-time gig. All right, let me finish this stuff. I purchased a Beacon, but I prefer a shotgun mic. It's better looking in my opinion with the mic being out of frame. I was steered away from the shotgun mic though, because Beacon apparently easier. Thoughts? Oh, you purchased a Beacon mic. I mean the Beacon software is incredible. But buy whatever mic you want. I use both. I use a shotgun mic. I'm using a shotgun mic right now. And then when I want a dynamic mic, I use this one. So it's really just up to you. Grazelli says, I have a question. At what point would you suggest making your YouTube channel an LLC? I haven't been able to talk to anyone about this. When it's making enough money that you need to be writing off taxes. Keep in mind, by the way, you can back write off taxes. Like, when we first established our LLC and got like an accountant to help us with stuff, like I went back through and I wrote off like 7 years of equipment, because our first LSC was for like music stuff, right? Because that's what we started with on YouTube. And I had a microphone that I bought 4 years ago that I'd never written off. And so essentially what I did is I like sold the mic to my company or whatever. I was in startup mode. You're in startup mode. You don't have to have an LLC to be in startup mode. And work with an accountant, make sure you do it the right way, but you can go back through and like, don't worry about it right now unless you're making enough money. They're like, I really need to start writing off business purchases. And then you do it. You talk to an accountant. Have an attorney make you an LLC or do it yourself on like LegalZoom or whatever. Our first one was made on LegalZoom. I have a Sony a7 IV with a Tamron 17 to 28. I use it for my lives. The a7 IV is awesome. That's actually what I'm using right now. What do you recommend me use for the OBS configuration? 1440p, 60p with what latency and YouTube settings? So I use 1440p 60. Even though my camera's only sending out 1440p, or my camera's sending out 4K 30 because I don't want that crop. But I also just like the YouTube look. Like I like the 30p YouTube look. I wanted my streams to look more like YouTube. But I do 1440p 60, so if I ever switch to games, it is in 60 FPS. I can stream in 60 FPS. Latency in YouTube settings. I don't touch latency. Are you talking about like in the encoder? Don't ever do low latency in the encoder. Just do max quality. What latency in YouTube? Oh, in YouTube though. No, in YouTube I do here. In YouTube, if you do 1440p, you can only do low latency. You can't do ultra low latency unless you're in 1080p, which is why we have like a 7-ish second delay. Ben the Villain, I'm currently using Blue Yeti X, thinking of buying a Beacon mic and Beacon Mix Create. Is it a minor upgrade? Should I just buy the mix? If you like the sound of your microphone, if you're fine with the sound of your microphone, you can get all the features. Obviously, not all the mic features. You won't get the EQ and the compression and stuff, but you'll get all the mixing features with the Mix Create. There's actually a lot of overlap between the two in terms of like mixing stuff. The mixing software that comes with the Beacon mic is the same mixing software in the Mix Create. You just get the hardware device with it. Corey Byte. Oh, speaking of attorneys, he finally got back to me. I told him I need to incorporate 2 more companies. My watch is locked though, so I can't see it. Corey Byte says, thank you for the input on design stuff. Any device on getting better for general creating. I struggle for have many interests and no ideas / skills to know how to do anything with the interests I have. Learn the skills. That's what you need to do. Spend some time, develop some skills, develop something that makes you interesting. That's one of my biggest beefs. And by the way, don't take this the wrong way. I'm really happy you're asking the question. That's a good sign. But like so many, especially, and it's really prevalent in streaming, is people see the high-end streamers. They see the people who play video games and make a lot of money. They're like, I want to do that. I'm going to stream video games. And they don't have anything that makes them interesting. They don't even have any kind of desire to be a content creator. They just want to make money playing video games. Just make sure that if you want to be a content creator, you actually want to be a content creator and you don't just want to make money by playing video games. Because those are 2 very different things. So if you're struggling to come up with content to create because you don't have any ideas or skills, develop a skill. That is the most important thing you can do. What makes you interesting and unique? What's going to make people look up to you? What's going to make people listen to you? Leighton Wagner. I know you had a video talking about the Beacon Mix. I know you just had a video talking about the Beacon Mix Create. Wondering if it'll work well with my Elgato Wave 3. Sure. There's not really much of a reason for it unless you really want the knobs. Because most of the features in the Mix Create, the software features, are also already in the Mix Create, in the Wavelink software. Like honestly, you could just go with the like I think you're gonna find that you spend, like if you're already in the ecosystem, like in the end of the video I showed how to use the Wave software with the Beacon software, because that's actually what I'm doing with this mic. This mic is going into the Wave XLR, into the Wavelink software where I put VSTs on it, output it into the Beacon software where then it mixes with everything else. So you can do that. But I don't know if that's like an awesome idea. It's a lot of money for a lot of redundancy and features. If you're just looking for a controller like knobs, like the Beacon Mix, I believe you can just, I need to go into, man, I need to look into this stuff more. I need to make sure you can actually assign the knobs of the Beacon Mix to the outputs that go to, I'm pretty sure you can, but like assign them to the outputs that go into the Wavelink, and that would solve a lot of people's problems. There's also PC Panel that give you a similar thing. It depends on why you're looking to get the mix create. When you route your sound devices to the Beacon Mix Create, when you route, hold on. All right, this is from Babui. Baba Booey. When you route your sound devices to the Beacon Mix Create, do you stick or do you have to route them every time? Oh, do they stick? No, they stick. They stay. Once you set them once, they're there. I'm not sure what happens if you were to like unplug it while the PC is on and plug it back in. I mean, that's not true. I've unplugged them a ton. But no, they're there every time. You don't have to reset it every single time. Once you set it, it's there. I mean, Windows Audio is a giant nightmare. So sometimes they break when you do a Windows update, and that's super obnoxious. But no, if it does, it's on Windows end. RP Consumer, thank you for the 3 months. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, we caught up. Before we hit the 2-hour mark, we caught up. And guys, my dog's been outside for a while. I got to bring him in and feed him. It says under skills, WED design. Seriously. Alex, did you have another typo? It does say WED design. Alex, are you still in here? Alex, I need you to start proofreading these. If you're not in here, I'm going to text you. Jeez, man. All right, guys. I left. All right, guys. I'm going to hit the like button before you go. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be back again on Saturday. Next week, we should be getting, like, literally, we should be finishing Senpai HQ. Like, this week. I'm so excited. Should be adding the doors. They said Tuesday now. They were supposed to do it today, but then they changed it to next Tuesday. Classic. Doing lights, hopefully, next week, and finishing the recording studio next week. Hopefully. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys on Saturday. New video that came out this morning. Another new video coming out tomorrow. So keep an eye out for that. Am I getting footage for Let's soon? Yeah, we got to do that, Tim. Guys, have a good one. Thank you so much. Peace.